You want to outsmart anyone. Good, listen close. This isn't about tricks or cheap wins. This is about discipline, timing, and a mindset that makes you unreadable and unstoppable. It's about being smart enough to see the board while everyone else is playing checkers. I'll give you 5 rules, simple, brutal, effective, that, when practiced, shift the balance in your favor. These aren't laws for manipulation. They are principles of clarity, control, and consequence. Learn them, live them, master them. Rule 1. Know more than you need to. Knowledge is the quiet currency of power. The first step to outsmarting anyone is to do the homework they won't do. Read beyond the headlines. Listen to the pauses, not just the words. Study the patterns. In people's behavior, how they react when they're scared. In people's behavior, how they react when they're scared. How they react when they're scared. How they react when they're scared. How they speak when they're bluffing. What they value when they lie awake at night. When you know the terrain better than anyone else, you move with confidence. You don't have to be loud about it. You simply act. People mistake silence for ignorance. Use that. The mind armed with detail is a mind that can predict, prevent, and pivot. Always be learning. Not to show off, but so you can choose. Rule 2. Listen twice as much as you speak. The quickest way to be outsmarted is to fill the room with your voice. Talkers trade information, listeners gather advantage. When you listen a well-timed silence breaks the rhythm of the other person's game. It makes them fill the void and close. Always know the consequence you want and work backward from there. Don't be seduced by small victories that cost your long game. Rules every day. Read to widen the field of view. Listen to gather what's hidden. Pause to choose rather than to be chosen. Control your inner climate so the external storms mean nothing. And always, Always plan the full arc of your moves, so the end you want becomes the natural result of the steps you took. When you live by this code, you'll find doors open that used to be closed. People will start to treat you differently, not because you yelled louder, but because you stood firmer. You'll find fewer surprises because you expected them. You'll find more influence because you earned it quietly. Outsmarting anyone isn't about playing them. It's about being better prepared, calmer, wiser, and uncheckable. That's how. Dominance looks when it's earned, not flashy, not loud, but undeniable. Knowledge is the quiet weapon of power, the kind that doesn't need to shout to be felt. The person who knows more than they reveal is always 10 steps ahead. When you walk into a room, you can tell who came prepared and who's faking it. Preparation has a certain calm to it. It shows in your posture, in your timing, in your eyes. The one who studies, observes, listens, and learns doesn't need to prove anything because they already know the terrain. Knowing more than you reveal gives you leverage because people underestimate what they don't see. They think silence means ignorance, but silence is strategy. It means you've chosen what to expose and what to keep hidden. When you invest in knowledge, you're building invisible armor. It's not just about knowing facts, it's about understanding people, timing, and energy. You study patterns, how people move when they're confident, how they speak, people are too busy trying to be heard, trying to impress, trying to dominate conversations to realize that the real power lies in silence. When you listen, truly listen, you start to hear what people don't mean to say. You catch the hesitation in their tone, the inconsistency in their story, the insecurity behind their words. Every person reveals themselves when they speak. They can't help it. Their words carry emotion, fear, and ego. And if you're quiet enough to catch it, you gain insight that talking could never give you. Listening is a weapon because it gives you information, and information gives you choice. People who talk too much give away their strategy. They tell you what they want, what they fear, and where they can be influenced. But when you're the one listening, you collect all that data while giving away nothing. You keep your emotions neutral, your reactions calm, and your focus sharp. The more you listen, the more you see the patterns in people's speech, how they justify their actions. to make silence your tool instead of your weakness. Most people can't handle silence. It makes them uncomfortable. They rush to fill the space. Echo. When you listen, you also build respect. People feel heard, and in that feeling, they lower their guard. They open up more, trust more, and reveal more. You don't interrupt, you don't compete, you let them be seen while you remain aware. That's how you stay ahead. Listening is power disguised as patience. It gives you the advantage of knowing more while showing less. It makes you unpredictable because no one can read a person who's not busy performing. The pause is the most powerful move in any interaction, yet most people are afraid of it. They rush to fill the silence, to respond instantly, to prove they have control, when in reality, control belongs to the one who knows how to wait. The pause is where power lives because it breaks rhythm. When you pause, you shift the pace of the conversation, and suddenly everyone else is reacting to you. You take back command of the space without saying a word. Stay unreadable. The pause is also a test. When you stay silent after someone speaks, most people panic. They start to words ever could. Learning the pause takes discipline. You have to be comfortable with stillness, with not reacting immediately. You train yourself to breathe, to let the moment settle before acting. It's not hesitation. It's control. You're slowing the game down so you can see the whole board. You're letting others move first, reveal their hand while you stay composed. The pause turns conversation into strategy, emotion into awareness, chaos into clarity. It's a simple act that separates those who chase control from those who already own it. Emotional control is what separates the powerful from the predictable. The person who can stay calm when provoked, who can hold their composure when everything around them is designed to make them react, is the one who truly owns the moment. When you control your emotions, you become unreadable. People can't manipulate what they can't understand, and they can't play someone who doesn't react on cue. Emotional control is not about being cold, it's about being aware. It's about knowing what you feel but not letting it dictate your next move. When you master that, you become untouchable. Every day, people test your emotions without even realizing it. They'll say something sharp, throw attitude your way, or try to make you prove yourself. And if you take the bait, if you raise your voice, show frustration, or act out of anger, you give them power. You hand over control of your state to someone who didn't earn it. Emotional control is about refusing to give that power away. It's about seeing the game and choosing not to play. Won't fix anything. You start to value your peace more than your pride. That's when your power grows, because you stop fighting battles that aren't worth your energy. You stop explaining yourself to people who aren't listening. Who plays the long game doesn't waste energy proving anything in the present. They're focused on building leverage for the future. They think in moves, not moments. They don't react to what's happening right now. They plan for what's coming next. Every step, every silence, every decision is part of a bigger design that others can't see until it's too late to play the long game. You have to know your destination before you take your first step. You don't get lost in the noise of temporary emotions or distractions. You know what you want and what it's worth, and that keeps you grounded. When you have a vision, you stop chasing validation from people who don't matter. You realize that not every confrontation deserves your response, and not every opportunity deserves your time. You move with precision, choosing your moments wisely. And when you act, it's deliberate, calculated, and unstoppable. That's how dominance is built, not in the heat of reaction, but in the quiet of preparation. Planning your exit is just as important as planning your entrance. You should always know when to walk away, when to pivot, when to cut ties, and when to strike. People lose control when they don't have an exit strategy because desperation clouds judgment. But when you've thought it through, when you visualize how things could unfold, you move without fear. You stop being controlled by outcomes because you've already prepared for every version of them. You understand that sometimes walking away is the smartest form of power. It's not retreat. It's positioning yourself for a greater win. The long game also demands emotional maturity. You have to be able to let others think they're winning while you're setting the foundation beneath them. You can't let impatience make your decisions. You learn to wait, to endure discomfort, to let the short-sighted rush ahead while you stay steady. You understand that true dominance isn't about speed, it's about control. The one who can wait without losing focus always wins in the end. You build alliances, you study patterns, and you stay quiet while others burn themselves out, trying to be seen. Playing the long game gives you peace because you no longer move out of fear or ego. You move out of understanding. You see the big picture. You stop letting emotions dictate strategy and instead use patience as your weapon. Every move you make serves a purpose, even the silent ones. That's what separates the powerful from the impulsive. The long game isn't about winning today. It's about making sure that when the dust settles, you're still standing, still in control, and still ahead.